Did I do that?
There are some TV shows that aren't just shows, they're a time machine. They take you right back to your childhood living room, right after school, waiting for TVJ to come on. They're the theme songs we all know by heart, and the characters that felt like family. Welcome to Rate JA, where we rate everything Jamaica. Today, we're counting down the top 10 sitcoms that truly raised a generation of Jamaicans. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a true classic. Now this one's from an older era, but thanks to endless reruns on CVM, it was a show that was always around, a cornerstone of television that you couldn't miss. Of course, we're talking about the Jeffersons, the story of George and Louise Wheezy Jefferson, a black family that moved on up from Queens to a deluxe apartment in Manhattan. The aspirational theme was powerful, but the real magic was the hilarious back and forth between George and his neighbor, Tom Willis. For giving us one of the greatest theme songs of all time, and a truly unforgettable character, the Jeffersons gets the countdown started.
If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigga.
He said it.
Coming in at number 9 is a show that was a staple of that 5:30 to 6:30 evening slot on TVJ during the week. This is the George Lopez Show, centered on George's life as a plant manager in Los Angeles, dealing with his job, his wife, his kids, and most of all, his mother. And that's the part that really connected. While George was the star, his mother, Benny, was the scene stealer. Her cynical, tough-as-nails, no-nonsense attitude was instantly recognizable. The kind of tough mother or grandmother that every Jamaican knows. For giving us a mother we could all relate to and 100 laughs, George Lopez makes our list.
Unless your son points it out to everyone at work.
At number 8 is the show that owned Friday nights on TVJ, right after the primetime news. We're talking about The Jamie Foxx Show, starring the incredibly talented Jamie Foxx as Jamie King, an aspiring musician working at his family's hotel in Los Angeles. While we all love the dynamic between Jamie and Fancy, the real top-tier comedy was undoubtedly the duo of Jamie and Braxton. The contrast between Jamie's slick, street-smart style and Braxton's stoosh, by-the-book personality was pure comedic gold. For that perfect duo and all the times they had us laughing, the Jamie Foxx Show is a certified hit.
Make a small investment, flip it, make a profit.
I refuse to be involved with street pharmaceuticals.
Our number 7 spot was another one of those after-school classics on TVJ, on right in that 5:30 to 6:30 slot when you're just getting home and your parents are starting dinner. The Parkers hit the ground running, telling the story of Nikki and Kim Parker, a mother and daughter who end up attending the CM Junior College. The heart of the show was Nikki Parker's relentless, shameless, and absolutely hilarious pursuit of Professor Ogilvy. No matter how much he tried to avoid her, she was always there, ready with a compliment and a plan. Monique's performance made Nikki a comedy icon. For one of the funniest and most persistent characters in sitcom history, the Parkers is a must-have on this list.
Miss Parker, it's really not... God, that feels good.
Say my name.
Nikki.
At number 6, we have a show that is a British comedy. This was one of those morning staples on TVJ. If you were homesick from school, you were guaranteed to catch an episode. Keeping Up Appearances is the story of the one and only Hyacinth Bucket, who would have a fit if she heard her name any other way than Bouquet. And every time it was funny. No matter how hard everyone tried to avoid Hyacinth, it was like hiding from Jehovah's Witnesses. They'd always end up right back in her orbit. Her obsession with social status was a hilarious satire that deeply resonated. For being so proper and so funny, this show absolutely earned its spot. Now remember, it's pronounced bouquet.
Mr.
Good morning, Mrs. Bucket.
Coming in at number 5 is the show that came most times right before School Challenge Quiz on TVJ. The 6 p.m. weekday slot belonged to this modern classic. Everybody Hates Chris gave us a hilarious and heartfelt look at a working-class family in 1980s Brooklyn. And with Chris as the star, you couldn't help but feel sorry for him. And who can forget the classic moment when Chris, tired of doing all the work and his siblings doing nothing, finally tells his mom no? It was a scene every Jamaican child both feared and dreamed of. For giving us a child we all could relate to, Everybody Hates Chris is a top 5 legend.
Drew and Tanya sitting right there doing nothing. Why can't they help?
Because I told you to do it.
No. I'm not gonna do it.
Lord, please help me before I knock this boy's neck off.
At number 4 is the show that took over the 6:30 p.m. primetime slot on TVJ and became a defining family sitcom of the early 2000s. Starring the legendary Damon Wayans, My Wife and Kids centered on the Kyle family and the unique, often questionable parenting style of its patriarch, Michael Kyle. The whole family was hilarious, but for many of us, Junior was always a highlight. The interactions between Michael and his dim-witted but lovable son were the core of the show. Michael's teachable moments were less about gentle guidance and more about brilliant, sarcastic life lessons that had us all in stitches. For its modern humor and a TV dad like no other, My Wife and Kids was a massive hit.
And I'm gonna be stuck with a grandchild with this big head that keeps tipping over.
You know what happened to you and Mom?
Yeah.
Entering our top 3 is a show that absolutely dominated. This was the definition of appointment television for the entire family throughout the 90s. We're talking Family Matters, the story of the Winslow family in Chicago and their next-door neighbor. Let's be real, this show's impact can be summed up in 2 words: Steve Urkel. A perfect example of his power was in the episode with Carl's anger management class. Carl tries to stay calm, counting 1, 2, 3, but Urkel's very presence just pushes him over the edge. That character took over the world and Jamaica was no exception. For giving us one of the most iconic characters and catchphrases in all of television history, Family Matters is an easy top 3.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me?
At number 2 is the undisputed king of 80s television. If you were a child home from school, you were watching this on TVJ in the morning before the midday news. Of course, I'm talking about The Cosby Show, which gave us a powerful and positive look at the day-to-day life of the Huxtable family in Brooklyn. Now, for a generation of Jamaicans, the impact of the Huxtable family itself was simple. It was profound. It was the first time many of us saw a black family on TV that was so successful, stable, and aspirational. And in tribute to the great Malcolm-Jamal Warner, we have to talk about Theo. Watching him navigate school and life with his father Cliff taught so many of us valuable and hilarious life lessons. For changing the face of television and showing millions of us what was possible, The Cosby Show holds a legendary spot on our list.
What are you gonna do to me?
I am going to fix your hair.
Then what?
You expecting some sort of punishment?
Shouldn't I?
Yeah.
And here we are at number 1, a show so massive and so important, it could only be The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the story of a street-smart kid from West Philadelphia born and raised who gets sent to live with his wealthy relatives in Bel-Air. This show had everything. The comedy duo of Will and Carlton was legendary. You had Jeffrey's witty, sarcastic comebacks that every Jamaican could appreciate. But what made it the greatest was its heart. We all remember the moment when Will's father leaves him for a second time and he breaks down in Uncle Phil's arms asking, "How come he don't want me, man?" It's one of the most powerful scenes in sitcom history. For its perfect blend of comedy and heart, a cast of unforgettable characters, and the single greatest theme song of all time, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is without a doubt the #1 sitcom that shaped Jamaica.
All these memories.
How do you say goodbye?
Like this?
Goodbye.
So there you have it. The top 10 shows that weren't just on our TVs, they were a part of our family. A special tribute to Malcolm-Jamal Warner and to all the stars who made us laugh and helped us grow up. But now I have to hear from you. Our list is done, but the conversation is just getting started. Which show was your number one? And what's a favorite memory you have watching these classics with your family? Let me know everything in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please give the video a like and subscribe to Rate Jamaica for more content that celebrates our culture. Work good and dream big.